Welcome back. Today we're diving into a really fun storybook explainer called The Monkey, the Peacock, and the Cost of Envy. You know, if you've ever felt that little pinch of wanting something someone else has, you are definitely going to want to hear this. We're going to take a trip into a super colorful jungle to learn a massive lesson about finding happiness exactly where we are. Let's get right into it. So tell me if this sounds familiar. Have you ever been so hyper-focused on another kid's toy, like maybe they brought a shiny new bike or a super cool action figure to the park, that you completely forgot about how much fun your own toys are? You're just staring at it, wishing it was yours, and suddenly all the awesome stuff you have just doesn't seem that cool anymore. Well, that is exactly what happened to a little monkey deep in the jungle. And as you'll see today, that feeling, it's kind of a trap. Which brings us to Section 1. Meet Max the monkey and his happy life in the jungle. I want you to picture this lush, vibrant green jungle, right? It's filled with golden sunshine, birds are singing, and right in the middle of it all lives Max. Max is this joyful little guy. He's got these big, curious eyes, a huge, playful smile, and he had the most fantastic daily routine. His absolute favorite things to do were swinging high up from tree to tree, feeling the wind rushing through his fur, eating the sweetest, most delicious mangoes you can imagine, and just playing tag with his monkey friends all afternoon. Seriously, life was good. Perfect, actually. He didn't spend a single second worrying about what he didn't have, because what he did have was already so amazing, but things were about to change. Moving right along to Section 2, the feeling of jealousy and a beautiful new arrival. Imagine the whole noisy jungle suddenly going completely quiet. One day, while Max was just hanging out near the river, he spots something truly magical, a majestic peacock. This bird spreads out its giant feathers, and I mean the colors are literally sparkling in the bright sunlight. Vibrant blues, deep greens, shiny golds, every single animal gathered around just in total awe. But up in the tree branches, looking down at this, Max started feeling something kind of weird bubbling up inside. This sneaky thought popped into his head: why does the peacock get all the attention? And you know what? For the very first time ever, Max completely stopped caring about his sweet mangoes or his awesome tree swinging skills. He just stared at that peacock, completely obsessed with what the bird had. There's actually a name for that uncomfortable, sneaky feeling. It's called jealousy. Basically, jealousy is when you want what someone else has so much that you completely forget what makes you special. It's a super heavy emotion, and as the days went by, Max literally couldn't stop thinking about those sparkling feathers. When he ate his favorite mangoes, he wasn't even tasting them. He was just picturing the peacock. When he looked at his own smooth, brown fur, he just felt bad. Jealousy had totally taken over his brain and stolen his happiness. Now for Section 3, the silly feather plan, where Max tries to change. Max was feeling so terrible that he decided he had to do something about it. A light bulb went off and he thought, hey, if feathers make the peacock popular, then feathers are going to make me popular too. Instead of remembering how cool it is to be a fast, agile monkey, he got it in his head that he needed to become something completely different. So he comes up with this totally chaotic plan. Step 1, he scrambles around the jungle floor like a mad scientist, grabbing every single fallen bird feather he can find. Red, blue, green, yellow, the whole shebang. Step 2, he scoops up a giant handful of super sticky tree sap. And Step 3, he sticks those feathers absolutely everywhere. On his arms, on his head, right on his tummy. It was a very sticky, very silly monkey workshop. But looking at his reflection in the river, he smiled. He just knew everyone was finally going to admire him. So Max confidently marches right into the center of the jungle, totally waiting for everyone to gasp and say, wow. But instead, the animals just burst out laughing. They're giggling, saying, what happened to you? You look ridiculous. And to make it worse, the sticky sap wasn't exactly super glue. The feathers started falling off one by one. Some are stuck to his nose, others are all tangled in his long tail. It was literally the ultimate embarrassing moment. Poor Max just turned around and ran away, feeling a million times worse than before. Which leads us to Section 4, Elephant Ellie's Wise Words, a gentle lesson by the river. Max goes to hide near the quiet riverbank as the sun goes down. He's sitting all by himself, tears rolling down his furry little cheeks. He felt so silly. But then, this old, very wise elephant named Ellie gently walks over to him. Ellie just sits and listens patiently while Max pours his heart out about the jealousy, his messy feather plan, the whole embarrassing disaster. And she doesn't laugh at him. She just gives him this warm smile and asks a really simple question. "Max, have you ever seen a peacock climb trees like you?" Max sniffles and goes, "No." "Have you ever seen a peacock swing across branches?" "No." "Can a peacock gather fruit from the very tallest trees?" Max shook his head. "No." See, Ellie was helping him realize something huge. Sure, the peacock is beautiful to look at, but it absolutely cannot do any of the amazing athletic things that a monkey can do. Then Ellie hits the nail on the head. She tells him, "The peacock has gifts. You have gifts. The problem began when you stopped valuing your gifts." Max just sat there by the water, and you could see it finally click. He had spent so much of his energy wishing for someone else's strengths that he entirely forgot about his own. Comparing himself to the peacock was just a giant trap that robbed him of his joy. Let's look at Section 5, appreciating your own gifts and being the best version of you. The very next morning, Max wakes up with a completely different attitude. No more pretending to be a bird. No more comparing himself to the peacock. He was just Max the monkey, perfectly happy in his own fur. He realized that being different does not mean being worse. Think about it. You've got the peacock's gifts. Beautiful feathers, sparkling colors, great to look at. But then you've got Max's gifts, climbing incredibly tall trees, swinging on vines, reaching the highest fruit. I mean, a peacock could never get to a delicious mango at the very top of the jungle canopy. Max realized the jungle actually needs both. It needs the dazzling beauty of the bird and the awesome agility of the monkey. And it's amazing what happened when Max actually started using his true gifts again. When the little baby monkeys couldn't reach their food, Max would just zip right up the tree and help them out. He gathered snacks from the highest branches for the animals who couldn't climb at all. He proudly shared his climbing tricks with his friends, and guess what? Very quickly, the whole jungle appreciated him. Not because he was trying to be a sparkly bird, but because he was just being his helpful, awesome self. Max felt lighter and happier than he ever had. So what's the big takeaway here? Don't waste your life wishing for someone else's gifts. Your greatest strength is becoming the best version of yourself. Jealousy is always going to try and convince you that what someone else has is better than what you have. But the exact second you stop comparing yourself and start appreciating the cool things that you can do, life gets so much happier and honestly, way more fun. As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with one final question to really think about. What is your special gift that makes you amazing? Maybe you draw incredible pictures, maybe you run super fast, or maybe you're just a really kind friend to others. Whatever it is, celebrate it. You don't need a peacock's feathers when you have your own awesome skills to share with the world. Thank you so much for joining me for this story. Remember to keep being your amazing, unique selves, and we will see you next time.